Do you believe in fate?
No,
Why not?
because I don't like the idea that I'm not in control of my life.
I know exactly what you mean. Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life, that there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that has brought you to me. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Matrix.
Do you want to know what it is?
Have you ever stopped to consider who really controls the financial system that runs our world? Is it the US president? Is it the communist nation dictators? Or perhaps it's the big corporates, Amazon, Facebook, or Tesla. Or maybe it's all of them and more, all simply because they are part of an elusive group of stupidly wealthy and powerful people, the elitist 1%. The truth is, none of these guys really control anything, and in reality, they too are being controlled. Let's unveil the truth of who is actually controlling the current debt-driven financial system that we will now call the financial matrix. Much of what you do and earn happens with the permission of the financial matrix, and 99% of people don't even know it. No, we're not talking about the Illuminati, mind control, or aliens. It's a lot simpler than that, as you're about to find out. The financial matrix is made up of the centralized banking powers, the brokers, the agents, the intermediaries, and the money counters. These are the people that have built the financial matrix, a centralized system of finance and technology that brings all the benefit to them and none to you. It sucks up billions of your hard-earned money right out of your pocket with your consent, while the wool is being pulled over your eyes. At the top of the matrix are the controllers, the central banking magnates, reserve banks, and central banks. And under them, you've got their generals, the banking institutions, and the massive corporates, and then big anything, big pharma, big insurance, big corporations, big social media, etc. Lower down the matrix are the paper pushers, regulators, auditors, exchanges, clearinghouses, watchdogs, and bureaucrats. The matrix's foot soldiers are the brokers, lawyers, accountants, real estate agents, and insurance guys. Chances are you know a few of these guys. You may even be one without even knowing. Everything that feels off in the financial world right now, the soaring debt, the sky-high asset prices, zero interest rates, the mountains of printed money, it's all a result of the financial matrix breaking down. For too long, your money has been used as the lifeblood of the financial matrix, but now something profound is happening. The matrix is being exposed. The controllers are getting greedy, and in doing so, they are losing control of the financial matrix, exposing the greed, the corruption, and the bias. And in 2021, we sit at a crucial crossroads. A new awakening is being set up by a gutsy band of technologists, cryptographers, economists, and early adopters. They saw what was going on a long time ago, and they have spent the past decade creating an alternate financial system, one that's currently operating in parallel with the old one. This new world of money is built on the principles of free markets, individual rights, and liberties. This new decentralized financial system is going to change everything, and it will positively affect your life, the internet, the future, the financial world, and even money itself. The world is shaking off its financial shackles and attempting to break control. It's working to become decentralized, and in doing so, the concept of money and wealth and financial freedom is being rewritten. As the people, you and me, start to learn about this new set of rules for saving, investing, and wealth creation, a new system that benefits everyone will emerge as the dominant financial system. This new financial system is a whole new ballgame and is going to be the biggest disruptor of our time. To be part of it, we'll need to know the rules, learn how to understand them, how to play by them, and crucially, how to profit from it. Once you know, that is when you, like Neo in the movie, can make the decision to either unplug yourself from the money-hungry, money-sucking financial matrix and finally have a real opportunity at financial freedom, or you can keep slogging away, getting nowhere. The choice is yours.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Now, if you're still here, I'm going to assume that you've decided to take the red pill and allow me to take you down the rabbit hole and show you this wonderful, wonderful wonderland that we call digital assets and cryptocurrencies. Now, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you are, where you're joining us from the world today. Before we dive deep into today's presentation, let's look at the facts. The fact is the world is currently seeing the biggest transfer of wealth since the internet. It's also the next evolution of the internet and finance is being built right now. In fact, Web 3.0, crypto, and the blockchain technology is at its heart. We believe that this is the greatest investment opportunity of our lifetime, bigger than the internet ever was. And this is why I'm so passionate about sharing this story and the information about cryptocurrencies. And I'm going to speak to you guys today about how I got into it and why I believe you and every single person out there owes it to themselves to at least investigate this space. And lastly, I want to ask you a question. Imagine being able to invest in the protocols that built the World Wide Web, that built the internet, things like Amazon, Facebook, Google, Yahoo, all of these massive companies that were there right in the beginning of the development of the World Wide Web. This is the opportunity that we have right now. It's presented to us and it's bigger than it ever was. Now, before we get started, we do have a handout. So I'm going to put this in the actual chat. Give me 1 second so you guys can actually download it. Now, this is a handout that you guys can download. It is a workbook. This is a workshop. So we do want you guys to be engaged. And I do want you guys to download these. If you get a chance to print them, if you're in front of your computer, do so. If not, just grab a piece of paper and a pen and write down the answers for the workbook as you go through it. Come on. Here we go. Now, before we get started, obviously we have a disclaimer and we've got to let you guys know about the risks in cryptocurrencies. First of all, we're not financial advisors. I'm not a financial advisor and nothing I'm giving you here is financial advice. All strategies that I'm going to be sharing with you are general in nature and are not necessarily tailored to your individual situation. In any type of investment, you should always do your own research, especially in cryptocurrencies. If you're unsure about this space, consult your financial planner. Crypto has many risks and you can potentially lose all your money if you don't know what you're doing. So always get guidance before you dive into this space. Always be careful investing in altcoins because altcoins can potentially lose their money really fast. And we see many people lose their money overnight because they did not know what they're doing. Now, before we get into this, I want you to know this. At any given moment, you have the power to say, this is not how it's going to end. Now, I don't know about you, but the past 18 months to 2 years have actually been a whirlwind, and the world has gone into chaos. And a lot of people are fed up. And today, you have the opportunity to potentially change how your story ends. All that I ask of you is to pay attention. Put down any distractions, put down your mobile phones, close down your browsers, sit in a quiet place, grab a book, grab a notepad, print out the handbook, get a pen, have a cup of coffee, and just give us your attention for the next hour and a half. Because tonight, we can potentially change the direction of your life. I know when I sat in your position not too long ago, and I'm not that, I've only been in cryptocurrencies for a short period of time. I've only really got into this because of the help of Michael, who's my business partner. Unfortunately, Michael couldn't make it today, so I'm going to be giving a presentation on his behalf. But when I sat in your seat, I didn't pay attention the first time around. I missed it all. But when I sat down and I listened quietly and I absorbed the information, I realized that this is an opportunity that can potentially change my life. So who am I? My name is Wasim Dabusi. I'm a father and a husband of 20 years, almost 22 years now. I've been with my wife for a quarter of a century. I know I'm not that old. I got married quite young. I got married at the age of 21 while I was still at university. I've always struggled with a negative mindset. You see, I grew up in a wartime country. I came out to Australia. English is my third language. And on top of that, I've got a lisp. And as you can see from my name, I've got 4 S's in my name. So growing up in Southwest Sydney was not a fun time for me. I struggled with being bullied, with being teased, and I had a really, really negative mindset. Now, I became a serial entrepreneur in 2003, and I kind of fell into entrepreneurship. My wife was having a baby. We had our first son, and I wanted to get a second income. And back then, as you guys can imagine, there wasn't many online business opportunities and working opportunities like there are today. So when I started looking, I got into network marketing, and from network marketing, I discovered personal development, and that changed my life and started my entrepreneurship journey. That's why I said to you guys, at any given moment, you have the opportunity to say, this is how it's going to end. And I had that opportunity in 2003, and it's been an amazing, amazing ride for the past 18 or 19 years. I've been in sales and marketing for over 17 years, and I've sold almost anything you can think of. I've had cafes, I've had gyms, I've had online e-commerce stores. I've been in the pharmaceutical world. I've been in retail management and so forth. So I've got quite a long history of sales and marketing. So how does a guy from sales and marketing get into crypto? Well, we're going to get to that in a little while. I was the #1 sales professional for one of the companies I was working for, and I was bringing in over $4 million per month for the territory that I had. And then I lost it all due to COVID. And this is where the story starts of how I got into cryptocurrencies. Now, I'm rebuilding everything that I've lost using the digital asset space. So about me, I started off, as I told you guys, I had a gym before COVID. When COVID hit, obviously it was shut down and we're on lockdown. We had no income, and owning a gym has very, very high overhead. So month in, month out, the overheads kept on piling on, and the debt kept piling on. We had no support from the banks, no support from the franchise, no support from the landlord, because they all wanted their money also. So it all came down to the little guy. If you're a business owner, if you're a small business owner, an SME, you'll understand what I'm talking about. When the crunch comes, it comes down on us. So I was faced with financial ruin. I had to sell my family home. I had to sell all my investments, shut down my business, sell all my equipment. So for 21 years of building something for my family and my future, it was all taken away from me during COVID. Now that caused me to fall into deep, extreme, severe depression, actually, is what my psychologist called it. I had severe depression and extreme stress. Now you can imagine, as a father and as a man, when you lose your income and you lose your ability to make an income, it can be very emasculating. And that was me. That's what happened to me, during COVID, the first round of COVID last year. Now, when I was in the depths of my depression, I had one of my best friends come up to me, and he said to me, Wasim, get into crypto, this and that. And I said, bro, look, I got into crypto in 2017. I lost a bit of money. I'm not interested. but sometimes opportunities keep coming at you and you've got to listen to it. So that was the first sign. The second sign was a few months later, I got a message from a friend of mine who I knew personally, and she sent me a message to a webinar pretty much similar to the one that you guys are doing by the same company. And I'm going to tell you guys the story of how I went from a client to becoming to where I am now, from a client to a raving fan to the head of marketing and community engagement. So when she sent that to me, I was like, look, I'm not interested. I really don't know. I'm losing everything at the moment. I don't want to get into a high risk opportunity right now. I just want to go find myself a job and just rebuild what I've lost. That was the mindset I was in because I was in the depths of depression. But then my assistant actually was interested in the webinar. So she signed me up, wanted to go in on my behalf. So I was like, okay, she's interested, let her go. And then I was sitting there on a Thursday night and the reminder came up. It was the third time. I was like, you know what? This is coming at me a few times now. Maybe I should pay some attention. What I'll do is I'll turn it on, leave it in the background, and I'll just listen to it while I'm doing my emails and doing my admin. Half an hour later, I was glued to my tablet, and because the information that Michael was sharing, which is similar to the information that I'm going to be sharing with you guys tonight, really had me captivated. He spoke all the things that I've been learning over the years from people like Robert Kiyosaki, Tony Robbins, all these big speakers who speak about the financial world and how to build wealth. He was really hitting all of those notes for me. So the next day, I got on the phone. I said, guys, I need a copy of this webinar. I want to watch it over the weekend, and then we can have a chat next week. Long story short, I've got a lot of information to go through, but long story short, I watched it over the weekend. I was raving about it to my family the whole day. Got on the phone the next business day, said, guys, let's have a chat. 2 weeks later, I became a client. I had one of my properties settling. I grabbed whatever money I had left after paying the banks and everybody else I had money to. I had a little bit of money left, and I put that right into cryptocurrencies. And then I started seeing the results. And when I started seeing the results, I'm like, hey, I've got to share this with my friends. So I was telling my friends, my family, they started getting in on the action. They started seeing the results. Now, I was trying to build a coaching business at the time. So I thought, you know what, I want to share this in my database. So I started telling my clients, and I said, guys, you got to check this opportunity out. And when they started checking it out and they started getting in and they started seeing the results, I was like, wow, this is one of the biggest opportunities that I've ever seen in my lifetime. I need to pay attention to this. So once again, I got on the phone. I said to Michael, mate, we got to meet up. We got to have a drink. We got to have a coffee or something. I don't drink alcohol. But we met at a restaurant. We had some food. We had some drinks. And I was like, mate, I really want to get involved in this. What's the next step for me? How can I help you guys? How can I support you? They said, mate, look, our business is growing quite rapidly. We need someone to help with the sales and marketing. And I said, mate, 17 years of sales and marketing. Here I am. So that's how I got into this position. I started off just like you, sitting there watching a webinar, becoming a client, becoming a raving fan, and here I am today because I genuinely believe that every single person on the face of this planet needs to actually at least give 30 minutes to an hour of their time to explore this opportunity, because it can and will change lives, not just your life, but the lives of people around you, your children. Generational wealth is being created right now. And that's what we're going to go into today. But before we get into that, I want to just touch a little bit on our current money system. Now, think about the last time you purchased something. You went to a shop, if you're not in lockdown, or you bought something online, you put in your bank account details, or you put your credit card details in, or whatever it is, that went to the bank. Your request went to the bank would look at your bank account. Do you have that money available to pay for this particular product or service? If you do, the bank will gladly transfer the money for you to the next person for a fee. They take the cream off the top, they send the money to the other person gets paid, and that's how the current financial system works. And this is why we see so many banks report billions and billions of profit year in, year out, but then they give us this 1% interest on our savings. I don't know about you, but that makes no sense. If I go get a credit card, I've got to pay 15, 16, 17, 20% interest on a credit card. But then when I give the bank my money that they're using to give to somebody else, they're giving me less than 0.5%. Now, I don't know about you, but it doesn't seem fair to me. And this is exactly the root of the problem. And this is what Satoshi Nakamoto said. Satoshi Nakamoto was the man who came up with the idea of Bitcoin, and wrote the Bitcoin white paper, and they started testing it. See, what Satoshi Nakamoto said was the root problem is that conventional currencies are being debased on a regular basis. And the banks and the central banks are asking us to trust them, but on a daily basis, they're devaluing the money that we have. How can we do that? And this is why they came up with cryptocurrencies. So what is cryptocurrencies? Before we get into that, let's talk about the technology of what's under cryptocurrencies. You see, back in the early 90s, a new technology was found, which was called the blockchain technology. Now, blockchain technology in general is a very, very simple technology. All that it is, if you're an accountant, if you've done any type of accounting or know anything about Excel spreadsheets, this is what it is. If you know what a ledger is, a ledger is just a piece of paper that you put in all your transactions, money coming in, money coming out. And that's exactly what the blockchain technology is on a computer system. Every time new information come in, it's put at the end of the blockchain, but it can never be changed because all the other information now will need to be changed for it to happen. So this is how they found this trustless system where you can send money from one person to another without the use of a bank. So how does it work? You want to send money to a person. You bought a product, you bought a service, and you got to pay for it. You don't want to use a bank. The person has crypto, you have crypto. So what you do is you send a request to a decentralized network. A decentralized network is completely different than a centralized network that the banks have, where they house all the information, they house everything, and they are in control of it. A decentralized network is computers all around the world that house the same information. So if one computer is hacked or goes down or whatever it is, the other computers will protect the network because they have the same information. So if somebody, fraudulently changes the information on one computer, the rest of the network will reject that because it's not the right information. Once that happens, the network will determine whether you've got the money that you need to spend. They move that to, then they'll validate that. Once it's validated, they will create a block that goes on the back of the blockchain, which is, like I said, just a ledger. Then the money is sent to the receiver. It is that simple to understand. We can go to a lot more deeper than that, but this is all you need to know to understand blockchain technology. So how did cryptocurrency, what is the origin of cryptocurrencies? See, cryptocurrencies can be traced back to 1998, and they started because a group of individuals were actually unhappy with what the banking institutions were doing and how governments were using money to control people. Think about the lockdowns. If you're in Australia, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. The past 5 months, we've been in lockdown, and the governments and the state governments have been using money to control people. So these individuals were fed up with the way that banks are using money to control people and the way that governments will use money to control people. So what they wanted to do was come up with a trustless system that we have no need for the banks, where it's the people's money, where I can send you money. Like if I see you on the street, I give you cash out of my pocket. It's the same kind of transaction. However, it's digitized and it's called digital currencies. And they use cryptographic security systems to make sure that they don't get hacked. So it's a very, very safe system. So this is all there is, all that you need to know about cryptocurrencies. Now, I told you guys that today is a workshop. So who here has already downloaded the workbook? Can I get a yes in the chat or something, please?
So please, guys, just type in whether you clicked on this workbook and whether you downloaded it. Please just answer to Wasim. And Wasim, I make a quick recap because Michael is in the room, so I will pin both of you to being the host. Okay.
Thank you very much. All right, guys. So the next thing is, just give me 1 second. I just need to turn the air conditioning on here. It's actually getting quite warm. It's been quite a cold day today. Let me just send
We have a few yeses from Simfong and from Carrie. They already downloaded it.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. All right. So now, one of the main things, I'm sure you guys, if you guys read any personal development books or you know anything about reaching your goals, one thing that everybody speaks about is writing your goals down. And the way to do that is write your goals down every single day, review your goals, because that will then allow you to move towards achieving your goals. Now, what I've done here, and if I can get my clicker to work, there it is. So what I've put here together is a devise your goal method. So this is a method that I've put together for my clients when I was in personal development and so forth. And I'm bringing that over here so I can help people really achieve the goals that they want to achieve in life. So what we do here is you get dated. So the first thing in devise your goals is you want to have your goals dated and driven to the positive. So have a clear date for the goal to be achieved and state it in the positive. State it as if you already have it. Then you want to make sure your goal is ecological. Now, what that means is make sure it's good for you, it's good for others, and it's good for the world. You also want to make sure it's verified and realistic. So can you picture this happening? If you can't picture this happening, it's probably not achievable. So you want to make it achievable. So what I mean by this is that if, for example, you're making right now $30,000 a year and you want to go from $30,000 a year to $1 million a year, unless you've got some amazing vehicle, it may not be achievable, but you can achieve that, say, in 4 or 5 years. So you want to make sure your goals are achievable. Now, you want to also make sure that when you write your goal, you are writing it in the moment. And this is a tip because it's a mindset hack. Our mind doesn't know the difference, our subconscious mind, I should say, doesn't know the difference between true, what is real and what is not. Science has shown that, when scientists go into the mind, and they've done some really horrific studies here where they touch different parts of the brain, people will have memories come up as if they're real. So we want to state it in the positive to condition our unconscious mind. And lastly, and the next thing you want to do is you want to make it specific and you want to state it clearly. A lot of people say, hey, I want more money. Well, here's the dollar, mate. That's more money. Be specific on the amount of money that you want, or be specific on the end goal, whether it's losing weight, whether it's having a relationship, whatever it is, be very, very specific on what it looks like. And then you want to also make sure you have your end step. What does that look like when you achieve that goal? And what's the next step after that? This is a very, very important, because a lot of people, they want money, but they don't know what they're going to do with it. Wanting money is one thing, but what are you going to do with that money? The more you put it in there, what would life look like when you achieve it? What are you going to be able to achieve? The more emotion you add to this, and the more you understand how it's going to impact your life, the better it's going to get. Because to bring anything in your life, you've got to imagine it's already there. And visualization is a very, very powerful tool. So I'm going to, in your goals, thanks guys, in your workbook, we're going to, I think it's on page, let me have a look what page it's on. I think it's on page 2 or 3. I think it's page 2. So in page 2, you've got pretty much the content I just showed you, but you've also got the devise your goal method. So I'm going to go through my own example here, or some of my previous examples. I'll give you guys an example. Come on. Okay. So here's an example of how you write your goals according to the devise your goals example. So you want to say it is now the 31st of December, 2021. So that's a date in the future. It's stated in the positive. It's a future day that I know I'm going to get to if I live that long. And I'm in my office looking at my crypto portfolio. Now, can I imagine myself looking at my crypto portfolio? Yes, I can. And I have $1 million in my portfolio. Now, is that something achievable for me? Is that something achievable for you? Now, you know your situation, you know whether it is or not. I know that with the current situation, we've had a great day today in crypto. Bitcoin hit all-time highs again for the first time since May. It's been a rough few months, but that's part of the crypto journey. So I'm quite confident, between now and the end of the year, we're going to have a lot of upside. And whether I reach $1 million or not, it's not the point. The point is, can I have a goal that is achievable, and can I get there or get close to it? Now, another example I've got here is it's the 31st of this June 2024, and I'm standing in our new $3 million home, and I've purchased outright with my crypto profits. So again, this is a 3-year goal. Knowing what I know about crypto and knowing what I know how to use crypto and how to grow my wealth, I believe this is an achievable goal for me. So when I imagine it, I can actually see it happening. So I want to give you guys a couple of minutes to write that. Yeah, it did. It broke the 64K and it's reaching all-time highs. That's right, KK. So look, I want to give you guys a good, probably a minute or two just to write down your goals. And if anybody's willing or is open to it, please share it on this in the chat so we can read it. Because the next thing we're going to do, we're going to start to, put these goals deep down in your unconscious mind so that your mind automatically starts to look for ways for you to achieve those goals. This is a process that I've used with many of my clients, a process that I use on myself. And to give you guys an example, while you're writing your goals, strategic visioning or visualization in general is such a powerful tool. The deeper you go, the higher chance of you achieving it. Now, I'll give you guys a short story while you're writing your goals. When I was in my teenage years, I imagined I had this big vision of the family that I want and the relationship that I want. And I spent a lot of time visualizing it. I was a 15-year-old boy, visualizing exactly the type of relationship I have with my wife, et cetera, et cetera. And you know what? About 4 or 5 years ago, I remembered those visualizations. I turned around and looked at my current situation, and I realized that I've achieved exactly what I wanted to achieve back when I was 15 years old without actually writing that goal every single day. So we're going to do a process where we're going to put these goals for you guys deep down in your unconscious mind. So your unconscious mind is constantly working, finding ways to make it achievable for you. Are you guys ready for that? Can I get a yes in the chat box, please? Yes, 100K in 2022. Hey, Michael. Yes, wisdom. Yeah, look, it could be 2022. It could be end of the year. We're definitely looking at 100K Bitcoin plus more. I mean, some of the things that people are saying could be a lot higher than that. So let's get to the strategic visioning and lock this into your future. Now, what I want you guys to do, read your goals, make sure you know them. And the process we're going to do is very simple. We're going to go into our timeline, go to the future date that you have, whatever date that is. We're going to drop this goal in there. Then we're going to turn back and we're going to look at the past and see how the past has changed to allow this goal to be achieved. And then we're going to look at the future and look at our future change. And because this goal is achieved, and what are all the things that we can now achieve? It's a very simple process, but it's a very powerful process. So make sure you guys got your goals, and let's talk this into the future for you. So please close your eyes. And now what I want you to do is, first of all, go ahead and step into the goal. I want you to imagine that you're looking through your own eyes, hearing the sounds around you and feeling the feelings of being right there inside it. Now, if it's black and white, I want you to change it to color. If you need to adjust the brightness, go right ahead and make it just the right brightness for you. Make it the most compelling for yourself. Now, as you get it right, the right brightness, the right colors, the right sounds, I want you now to step out of the picture, but keeping yourself in the picture. And I want you to look at your body from the third person. Look at yourself. Where are you? Who's around you? What are the things you're doing? What are the emotions you're feeling? And I want you to take a picture of this, because this is what it's going to look like when you achieve that goal. Now, in a moment, I want to get you to energize it. Not yet, but in a moment. I want you to energize it with 3 aha breaths. And then we're going to rise up above your timeline and go forward into your time stream to the date of that goal. So look at that picture right now, visualizing, just looking at the picture of you achieving your goal. And I want you to energize this picture with 3 aha breaths. Another one. And last one. Now I want you to float all the way up into the air over your time stream and float all the way down to the future date that you have that you said that this goal would occur. Now drop this picture down into your time stream. And as you do, I want you to turn back and look off towards the past and notice that everything that had to happen for this event to occur is rapidly shifting in the stream of time to support it and at the unconscious level to help you achieve this goal. And now I want you to turn around and look to the future and look at your future changing as well. It's brighter, it's more brilliant, it's more alive. Knowing that all of this is right there waiting for you in your future, I want you to come back slowly to today and come back into the room and open your eyes when you're ready. Now, if you guys done this, I'm just to be conscious of time. Oh, we've got plenty of time actually. How did you guys go with that? I think you guys are still inside in the pin space. Awesome. All right, so this is a very, you can do this for anything. You now have the tool, you can do this for yourself. You can, anytime you want to create a goal and you've got a goal you want to achieve in life, go right ahead and do this, write it down, imagine yourself putting in your future and imagine everything changing, and you'll be surprised at how wonderful and how great this process actually works. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty of things and let's look at the current situation in the world. And what we know right now is money printing is out of control. If you guys know, in Sydney, in Australia, the government is giving people $1,500 a fortnight just to stay at home. In the US, the government has printed millions and millions of dollars. In fact, the money printing is so out of control that 35% of the world's USD circulation was all printed in 2020 alone. That's crazy. The Federal Reserve has actually stopped reporting how much money they're printing because their money, you can see from that chart, their money printing just went off the chart. So they've actually stopped doing it. And central banks are aiming for high inflation because they need this to be able to stop the debt burden they have. Fiat assets, so anything that you have, any money that you have, is actually losing value at about 14% per year. That means you're losing about 1% value of your money every single month just by living in the bank. You know, the old saying, saving for a rainy day, that doesn't exist anymore. That doesn't apply today. Because if you're saving your money for a rainy day, you're actually deteriorating and losing value of your money every single month. In fact, in 4 years from now, your money will lose 80% of its purchasing power. And what we also know is inflation is coming. You know, as much as they're trying to tell us inflation is not here, I don't know about you guys, but you know, every time I go to the stores, I do some groceries, I just find I'm getting less and less for the same amount of money. And what we see back in June, inflation reached a 13-year high in the US, 5.4%. That is really, really high inflation, and it cannot continue that way without something happening and the financial system breaking. So what can you do to actually hedge against inflation? This is where Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies come in. This slide here shows you if you were to invest $100 12 years ago, this slide actually says the 1st of February 2009, if you were to invest that $100 in any of these stocks, this is what you would have got. If you invested in Facebook, you would have had 1,000% gain, which is great. If you invested in Amazon, 6,580% gain. You know, all of these different Walmart, JP Morgan, Johnson & Johnson, Apple, you know, they've all gone up in value. There's nothing wrong with it. But look at the difference in Bitcoin. If you had put in $100 in Bitcoin back in 2009, I should say, you would have gone up 44,549,900%. That's 44.5 million%. Now, I don't know about you, that's a ridiculous amount. Now, you would have had to buy Bitcoin and just forget about it. You know, some people have done it and they've made lots of money from it. But we're going to talk about strategies that you can still win in this market because the opportunity is still not gone. So how long did it take these organizations, how long did it take to get to $1 trillion? If we were to look at some of the world's largest assets, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Google, how long did it take it to get to $1 trillion? Microsoft took them 44 years. Apple took them 42 years. Amazon, 24 years, and Google, 21 years. But Bitcoin did it in 12 years. Now, this is unheard of. It is the world's fastest growing asset, and it's not over yet. We're still just starting out. Now, I don't know about you, but I would rather be in this particular asset class because I know the future for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is going to be huge. But let's look at where Bitcoin actually sits in the money tree, or in the money pool, I should say. So if we have a look here, Visa is about $445 billion, Tesla 640, Facebook 730, Bitcoin is over $1 trillion now. I don't know what it is today, but last time I looked at it is about 1.2 trillion. Maybe Michael can tell us. Michael, what's Bitcoin today? Because I know he's listening in. Amazon 1.6, but we don't want to compare against Amazon or Microsoft or Apple because they're not a currency. They're just a business. They're just and they can be replaced by the next big thing. We want to compare Bitcoin to money. We want to compare Bitcoin to gold. We want to compare Bitcoin to physical money. And what you can see, Bitcoin right now is $1 trillion and gold is $12 trillion. So if Bitcoin is to get to $12 trillion mark, that's a 12x. So whatever price Bitcoin is at today, times that by 12, that's where Bitcoin is going. So we're generally talking about 500, 600, some people will talk about $1 million Bitcoin in the next 10 years. Now, will that happen or not? I'm not here to tell you hype, but I'm here to tell you that if you get into Bitcoin right now, if you get into cryptocurrencies, you're positioning yourself in the right place for the future. But if you're skeptical, you know what? I don't blame you. You know, what we've seen over the past 4 months, 5 months since May has been absolutely ridiculous. And today is a big win for us in cryptocurrency, which is why I'm so excited and so happy to be here. Because over the past 5 or 6 months, we've seen so many, news articles, China banning Bitcoin, Tesla, Vista, so many people bashing cryptocurrencies. And it's not the first time. In fact, it's happened so many times over the years. You can hear the rise and fall of Bitcoin. Bitcoin's $2.30. So that's the end of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is doomed to fail. Bitcoin is a joke. Bitcoin is still doomed to fail. Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme. Bitcoin is dead. In fact, it's been announced dead over 426 times that us people, us crypto enthusiasts, we have a Bitcoin obituary because we just want to put in there how many times the media want to say that Bitcoin is dead, and we know Bitcoin is not dead, and neither is cryptocurrency. It is the way of the future. So it's not the first time. I don't know about you guys, but there's been plenty of times where we see the media, say something and they're wrong because their job is to sell news. Their job is to sell people watching them, and that sometimes comes at the cost of the truth. So what we can see here is there is no reason anyone would want a computer in their home. This is back in 1977. Now, I don't know about you, but right now I'm looking at you guys. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screens looking at me, and I have at least 6 or 7 computers in my house. No online database will ever replace your daily newspaper. No CD-ROM can take place of a computer teacher. No computer network will change the way governments work. Now, had we not had the technology that we got today, where do you think we would have done during this pandemic? Every single student had been homeschooled through the use of computers, etc. And Newsweek itself, they actually said this in 1995, in 17 years from then, after 17 years, Newsweek was available exclusively online. They stopped printing. Internet may be just a passing fad as millions give up on it. Okay, the internet is a fad. Most things that succeed don't require retraining of 250 million people. I predict the internet will soon go particularly supernova and in 1996 catastrophically collapse. Now, the funny thing is about Bob McCullough is he's the creator of Ethernet. The network cables that connect into your router. These are the cables that power the internet all around the world. And even he thought it was gonna fail. So just because someone's saying that Bitcoin or cryptocurrency is not happening doesn't mean they got it right. They've had it wrong in the past and they've got it wrong again. In fact, if we were to compare Bitcoin versus the internet, what we can see is in 1997, the internet users were 130 million people. And then in 2005, they reached 1 billion. Now, what's happening with cryptocurrencies? What's happening with Bitcoin? In 2021, so beginning of this year, we had 130 million users. The way this space is growing, we are actually going to get to 1 billion users in 4 years, if not less. So in fact, we've actually more than doubled. We've more than doubled the users in crypto and Bitcoin users just this year in 6 months. So earlier this year, this article came out in June saying that their crypto numbers have doubled in 6 months from 110 million to 220 million in 6 months. So what's going to happen over the next couple of years is going to be huge. And this is why, again, I say it again, you owe it to yourself to explore this opportunity because it can change your life and the life of people around you. So where is the Bitcoin adoption? I'm just going to give you a second, guys. I just need to wet my mouth. I've been talking too much. Thank you. Okay. So where is Bitcoin adoption now, and has it gone past the tipping point? So there's a book called The Tipping Point, and this book speaks about all the disruptive technologies that have disrupted our world and shaped our world. Dad, can you please turn the air conditioning off, man? So in this book, he talks about airplanes, mobile phones, personal computers, internet, all of these disruptive technologies that have shaped our world today. They all had a tipping point, and that tipping point was 15%. Once they get over 15% adoption, so that 15% of the world's population starting to use it, or of the target market, I should say, starting to use it, then it goes parabolic, because now it becomes a genuine technology that's here to stay. And this is exactly where we are right now. 9 months ago, we were early adopters. When I first started in cryptocurrencies, we were still in the early adopter phase. But then today, we've gone over that 15% adoption rate. We've gone over that, and we're going to keep going towards full adoption over the next 3 or 4 years. So we're still in the early majority, which means the opportunity is still there for us. If you're going to wait till we get to the late majority or the laggards, the opportunity is gone. Again, what I say to people, please investigate this, because you owe it to yourself and your family and your loved ones not to let an opportunity like this go past. So we are still also in the first stages of mainstream. If you've been watching the news, if you're following anything to do with crypto, you'll realize that El Salvador was the first country to actually make Bitcoin legal tender. It's no longer a joke. It's no longer magic internet money. If you go to El Salvador, you can pay for anything using Bitcoin. Okay, and not only that, they're also now looking at alternative ways using their volcanoes to power the mining of Bitcoin. So it is sustainable. It's good for the environment. It's good for people. It's helping these, the people of El Salvador. This is going to change. I was listening to some news yesterday, and every single day, the El Salvador population is transferring their US dollars to Bitcoin, because they can now see the beauty of cryptocurrencies and how it's going to liberate them from the US petrodollar. But it doesn't stop there. Politicians around the world, Panama, Brazil, Argentina, Ukraine, a lot of countries around the world are starting to look at how can they adopt and legalize cryptocurrencies, and allow cryptocurrencies to be used in their countries. A lot of these developing countries who are going to adopt cryptocurrencies are going to now have a massive leg up to get to developing, to become on par with the developing world. And this is what excites me, because crypto isn't just about making money. It's about making the world a fairer place. Now, there was a lot of billionaires. A lot of billionaires used to hate crypto. I used to hate crypto, as I said to you guys. I was against it. I was like, I don't want to get into this. I've lost money in crypto before. I was scammed back in 2017. This is a very high risk opportunity. I didn't want to get in. But even the billionaires who were skeptical about cryptocurrencies are now getting into it. And you can see article after article after article. Paul Jones, Stanley Druckenmiller, Tim Draper. All of these guys are now moving into crypto, because they're starting to realize this is the way of the future. There's no stopping it. There's no way to stop this from this happening. So they've realized we've got to get in. However, okay, with anything, with great power comes great responsibility, as they say, but there are always risks and challenges in cryptocurrencies. So we want you guys to know that when you get into this space, it's always important to get your education right first. We had a client last week, just a few days ago on the weekend, come to us and say she's had all her crypto stolen. She didn't understand that there are phishing websites. We still are in the wild, wild west. Regulation is not here, which means it's good for us because we can still utilize the unregulated space to our advantage. But the downside is the criminals are also using it for their advantage. So there's phishing websites, Ponzi schemes. Like I got involved. This lady, she bought a hardware wallet from a non-genuine website, a non-official website, I should say. She got it. She put her crypto on it, and the person that sold it to her stole all her crypto. There's bad security management. There's insecure ICOs, rug pulls, bad investment decisions, lack of education, market volatility, as we've seen over the past few months, and lack of emotional management. So all of these are the reasons why it's so important for you to educate yourself correctly with an ethical business who's going to show you the way and give you the right tools so you don't fall into these traps. And we see it over and over again, at least once, twice, 3 times a month. We get people coming to us that have been scammed or lost their money somehow or another. So so that's the first thing. First of all, be very, very wary of what it is that where you're buying your crypto from and making the right decision and having the right education. But the next very, very important thing here, let's give some thumbs up to us. Thanks, Andrea. Thank you, Andrea. Appreciate that. So the next thing you've got to do is work out what your personal risk profile is. Now, doing this is very, very simple. And I want to bring the workbook onto the screen in a second. But before we do that, what is your risk profile? So analyze your risk profile is something important so you can understand how much risk you're willing to tolerate. Because the last thing we want for any of our members and anybody getting into crypto, I don't want you staying up late at night thinking about Bitcoin, thinking about, is my investment safe or not? I want you guys to sleep soundly, knowing you're doing the right thing for you and your family. So understanding your personal risk profile is so important. And that's why we've got an exercise coming in a few minutes. So determines what kind of, what you allocate, how much risk you're going to take, where do you diversify. We always tell people never invest more than you're willing to lose. If you are staying up at night thinking about your investment, then I guarantee you're overexposed. If you can't put your head to bed and sleep that you've made the right decision, then chances are you need to look at what you're doing. So I'm going to bring the workbook over to the screen here. If you want to just give me a second. Come on. Here we go.
I think in the meantime, KK was saying that, oh yes, Bitcoin broke through 64K today.
Yes, it did. And this is one of the reasons I'm so excited, because the past 4 or 5 months, 6 months, whatever it's been really challenging for people, for the retail market, people who don't know anything about crypto, because they've seen all this negative news. And we're saying, guys, it's going to come. It's going to come. We know it's coming. We know we don't know the future, but we know how this works and the volatility. So I completely agree with you, KK. This is one of the reasons why I'm so happy today. I'm over the moon. Okay, so if you go to page, I think it's page 3 or page 4. Page 4 of your workbook, which I've brought up on the screen. So I want you to answer these questions. How much do you have invested already? Whether it's business, property, shares, gold, and or crypto. I have a lot of my wealth already invested. That's a 5. I have a modest amount of my wealth already invested. That's a 3. I have none of my wealth invested currently. That's a 1. Now we're going to go through these. You're going to add up your scores at the end, and that's going to give you, a ballpark figure of what your what your risk profile is. Now, so it's a scale between 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. The next question is, how diversely are you invested into a range of assets currently? I'm invested into many assets, e.g. business, property, shares, gold, and crypto. If you've done that, you put a 5. I'm lightly invested. I have 2 or 3 types of investments already. It's a 3. I don't have any investments. It's a 1. What level of risks? What level of risks do you believe you can manage when investing? High risk, high return. I'm comfortable with a lot of risk and like to maximize my results. Balance, I aim for a balance, risk versus reward. Low risk, I'm a stable investor where I have very little stress or worry. Again, 1 to 5, guys. See where you fit, and then just put where you feel between 1 to 5. The next 2 questions is, do you like to have control over your investments? Or have someone else manage them for you? So that's, again, you want to have control. Yeah, I want to have full visibility over my investments. I know exactly where it is. That's a 5. I'm not sure and I don't mind. That's a 3. I don't need to control visibility. I'm happy for someone else to manage it for me. Then that's a 1. Do you have time and interest in educating and learning about your investment and prefer not to bother with getting involved? Again, if you're active, I have time and interest and I like to learn deeply about what and how to invest. Again, that's a 5. Neutral is I like to understand a little bit, but I don't want to have a lot. But I have other priorities. And then passive is I don't have time or interest. I just want to ensure my money is working for me. Again, and a little tip here, guys. If you are in a relationship, I would highly recommend you get your partner to do it, because me and my wife are completely different risk profiles. I'm a very high risk profile. She's more of a moderate low risk, which works well because, you know, I want to go out there and take all this risk, and then she's like, come down to earth. You know, let's not risk all the family's money. So it's a good opportunity for you guys to do that with your partners and work out where you want to be together, because this is going to be not just for you, it's going to be for your future of your relationship and your children if you're married. So once you've done that, guys, anybody want to share their results? Feel free to do so in the chat. KK, April 21, 62K, July 21, 29K, dropped 53% today. Yep, 100% KK. Virtually available, hence receives risk analysis and evaluating risk profiles are important to avoid the heart attack due to fluctuations. Thank you, KK. I appreciate it. Yes, this is the reason. And we want you guys to get into this space. We want you guys to get into it safely where you're comfortable doing it, because at the end of the day, I don't want you guys to, you know, not be able to sleep at night. This is not what I'm here to do. I want to help people have financial freedom, not financial stress. Thank you, KK. I appreciate that. All righty. So coming back to this. So if you've got 1 to 10 on that score, and feel free to share if you want. You're probably more of a newer passive investor, and that's fine. And if that's where you are, you probably want to look at about 1 to 10% in a high risk return, as high risk, high reward asset, like crypto. 1 to 10% of your complete portfolio, you want to put in a high risk, high reward. If you get 11 to 17, you're more of a stable, flexible investor, and you want to invest 10 to 20% in your high risk, high reward type of investments, such as cryptocurrencies. If you're like me, you've got 19 to 25, you probably want to risk, you have a high risk tolerance, and you probably want to do 20 to 30% of your portfolio into crypto. Now, again, we're not financial advisors. Speak to your financial advisor about your situation. I'm just generally talking here about the risk, about the investor profile. That's all I'm saying. I'm not telling you how much to invest. You can work that out on your own, and then we can help you learn how to invest. But this is a good tool for you to get started. You let others man your accounts. Look, letting others man your account is no problem with that. It can be done. The only thing I would say is please be careful. Do your research. Make sure you're dealing with trustworthy people. Make sure you're dealing with people who are going to look after you've got your best interest at heart. Whether it's us, whether it's somebody else, it doesn't matter, but make sure you are doing it with people who've got your best interest at heart, because I've seen it multiple times where people do that. And even me, when I lost my money in 2017, I was exactly like that. I wanted to just go, you know what? I gave it to my mate. There you go, bro. You put it in, you do everything. I've got a business, I've got a job, I don't have time for this. And then look what happened. I've learned from my mistakes. So you want to have a bit of a balance and just make sure that you trust the people you're working with. Now, once you know your personal profile, then you can start looking at what kind of portfolio am I going to go for. Do I want to go for a conservative portfolio? Or do I only want to put my money in Bitcoin and Ethereum? Or do I want to go for a safer one where I want to have a little bit of exposure to some high cap altcoins like Cardano, Solana, so forth? Or do I want to go for a balance where I want to have, balance between Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some of the more riskier stuff? Or do I want to get aggressive, have less in Bitcoin and Ethereum and more in the high risk stuff? Or do I want to go YOLO? You only live once. I want to go completely all in, and I want to go for the high risk stuff. I'm happy losing my money if it goes. Again, comes down to your personal preference, but these are things you want to consider when you're entering the crypto journey. Now, here's an example of one of our clients, Andrew Hewin. He had no idea how to navigate the crypto space, and he wouldn't even dare to try it in this, because he knows how risky it is. So he came to Breakout Solutions. We had a breakout session with him. We taught him the initial steps of exactly how to do it. We gave him exactly step by step and how to get involved, and he's almost tripled his portfolio in just a few months. And he continues to get the confidence and continues to progress in himself. So Andrew came in, he put in about $14,000 initial investment, and then I can't remember how long that was. I think it was about a 3 or 6 month period. He doubled his money to $30,000. this is another gentleman, Stephen. Stephen here is an insurance broker. He was interested in crypto, but didn't know who the right people to guide him and thought through this unique market. So he decided to invest $25,000 and he wanted to grow that because he actually wanted to buy a house. He actually came to us with a goal saying, guys, I've got this 25K. I've heard crypto can make a lot of money. I want to buy a house. Can I turn this into a deposit? We said, mate, let's work it out. We sit down. We had a breakout session. We went through everything that he wanted to achieve, and that's exactly what we did. In 6 months, he went from $25,000 to $99,507. That is a 300% increase. And then he pulled that money out. He went and bought his house, and he sent us this email saying, feel free to use me as a reference at any time. I witnessed the process from start to finish, and I'm a fan. When cash frees up from my Currumbin Valley purchase, I'll reinvest when the timing is right. Again, another raving fan. Look, I told you guys my story. I started as a client. I became a raving fan, and I jumped into the business because I believe in what Breakout Solutions is doing. So this is another one of our clients that's had the same thing. But how do you actually profit from all of this? Good question. Let me answer that for you. I'm glad you asked. So the 3 key methods to generate profit and passive income from digital assets. So the first one is investing, buy and hold. You will hear the term hodl. You'll hear the term hodl all over crypto. It's a play on words from hold to hodl, which actually means hold on to dear life. Because as you guys have seen, if you've been watching the market over the past 6 months, it's very, very volatile. So they've come up with the term hodl, hold on to dear life, because that's what you have to do. When it crashes, you just have to close your eyes and not look, because you know it's going to come back, and not look at the charts. That's what I do. So you want to buy and hold projects with great fundamentals, medium to long-term horizons. These include diversified portfolios and strategies for maximizing profits whilst managing risk. Now, this is very important. Great fundamentals with medium to long-term horizons. Things like SafeMoon, Shiba, all these meme coins that have been going crazy this year, and a lot of young people get into it and making money. Some of them are making money, but the challenge with those is these coins don't have strong fundamentals. They're not doing anything in the world. So they are very, very high risk. And that's how a lot of people lose money. They see Shiba pumping, they see someone post something on YouTube or Twitter, and they go, oh man, SafeMoon is going crazy. I want to go buy. The challenge is, if you don't know what you're doing, you're not getting it early enough, the pump has already happened. So it's important for you to understand the fundamentals. The second one is through passive income strategies. This includes things like DeFi, other staking pools, and so forth. Now, just give me a second to have some water, please. Okay. Now, these are also great ways to make money. You can you invest your money, you get ongoing returns, and unlike the banks that pay you once a month, once every 3 months, some of these pay you on a daily basis. So you can go in and take your returns. I've got one farm where I make about $1,000 a week from, and I don't do anything. All that I do is just go in and check it once a week, and I go, all right, here's $1,000. I want to invest into something else. So that's something that you guys can also, that's also available in the crypto. And lastly is actively trading the market. This includes day trading, swing trading, scalping, and this involves the art of buying and selling low and buying low and selling high. Now, this is a very, very risky, very time-consuming method. We don't actually teach that at the moment because we want to help the average person. You've got a job, you've got a family, you don't have time to be in front of a computer all day. If you do want to learn trading, we can. We've got people who can do that. Michael's a trader, but it's not something we usually teach to the general investor, because we want to make it easy for you guys. Trading can be very stressful. It's a massive learning curve. I stay away from it. But if that's something you want to do and you've got the time on your hands, that is also another way that you can make money in crypto. But do not get caught up in the short-term price action. And this is perfect for today, because what we've seen is so many people buy here. Like people, a lot of retail market, and you're going to see over the next few weeks, a lot of the retail market is going to start coming in. A lot of money is going to come into crypto, and the market is going to pump. The challenge is these people don't understand that there's going to be a pullback. And when this pullback happens, that's when you should be buying. There's a thing in crypto called buy the freaking dip, BTFD. It's because that's what we do. We buy the dip. We wait for the pullback. We buy them. Once something's gone up, we don't want to buy there. That's already pumping. And everything that goes up must come down. Laws of physics applies to crypto. So you want to wait for the dip and get in. If you've done your research and so forth, you'll do that. And the key thing is to think long term. Like KK said, she gave the messages about all the different pricing, 29,000, and I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but this is exactly what's happened. This is the Bitcoin chart since inception. So back in, I think that was like 2013, or 2011, that is, Bitcoin was at $29. Now, somebody said to you back in 2011, Bitcoin is going to get to $65,000. You're going to go, mate, you're crazy. In fact, it happened to me. One of my friends told me about Bitcoin back in 2012. It was $111 at the time, and he showed me how much it's grown. I thought to myself, you know, I should buy some of these, but I never followed through. It was an idea that I didn't follow through on. I could have bought 20 Bitcoin for a couple of $1,000s back then. That would have made me a millionaire. I actually spoke to him not too long ago, and he was like, bro, he's 29, 30 years old. He's like, bro, I don't need to work. I've got that much Bitcoin. I only work because I get bored. So he's done the right thing. Bitcoin, again, $138 back in whatever day that is. $1,100, $19,000, $64,000. So if you had bought Bitcoin at those times, that's the return you're going to get. $200,000, 200,000% return, 41,000% return, 5,000% return, 197% return. Now, people who bought Bitcoin earlier this year, today, I should have updated this slide. Today, they're break even. So they haven't lost any money. This is about a week or so old, this slide. I should have updated. I apologize that I didn't. But that's the idea. Think long term. Just because it goes down for a short period, it's going to go up. Overall, Bitcoin is going to continue to go up. And like I said, we're talking about $500,000 Bitcoin. Some people talk about $1 million. I've even heard some people talk about $12 million Bitcoin. Now, whether it's going to happen or not, I don't know. But the opportunity is not just in Bitcoin. The opportunity is actually in the altcoins. So these are gains from the 2016, 2017 bull run. So we're talking about 3 or 4 years ago. Ethereum has gone up 15,000%. Stellar, 36,000%. Ripple, 54,000. NEM, 56,000. NEO, 126,000. PivX, 233,000%. IOTA, 614,000%. Verge, 1.5 million% increase. Now that means if you put in $500, why isn't this working now? Sorry, guys. Okay. That means if you put in $500 back in 2017 into any of these altcoins, that $500 will be worth $77,000 in Ethereum, $180,000 in Stellar, $274,000 in Ripple, $282,000 in NEM, $631,000 in NEO, $1.1 million in PivX, $3.3 million in IOTA, and a whopping $7.5 million in Verge. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't know any investment out there, whether it's property, whether it's stocks, that can give you this type of return. And this is why, again, we're so passionate about crypto and why we want people to, again, at least give yourself the time to investigate this, because if it's not right for you, it's not right for you. But if it is right for you, I don't want you coming back in 3 or 4 years' time at the next bull cycle, go, man, I wish I invested back then, because this is what's happened over the past 4 years. I don't know why my clicker's not working today, all of a sudden. Okay, so these are some of the gains this year. So Dogecoin's gone up 7,000%. Tiltcoin's gone up 19,000%. Woo's gone up 4,000%. Chili's gone up 2,000. Polygon, Solana. Solana is going bonkers at the moment. It's amazing, amazing what they're doing. Terra Luna, Theta. Theta is a great project. That's it's a video streaming. It's going to be the next best thing after YouTube. It's actually going to compete with YouTube. A lot of YouTubers actually starting to go to is it Theta? I think it's Theta. But a lot of these new projects are disturbing the world of where we are now. So here's an example of some of our own breakout portfolios. So this is one of our portfolios where someone invested $5,000 on the 24th of December 2020. So this was about day before Christmas a year ago. And then at the top of the cycle back in May, that $5,000 became $63,000. And in July, even after we had the massive crash, it was still up to $29,000. That's a $24,000 profit, even though we had a massive pullback. Again, it's about time in the market, not timing the market. It's about how long you stay in the market to get your gains. Here's an example. So this was our old platform that we're using. We moved over to a new platform now, which is a much better platform, much easier for our clients and so forth. And you can see here in this platform, just from beginning or end of July up until 10 days ago, what you can see here is we've had 128% increase from end of July to now. Over the past 2 months, people have more than doubled their money, and I've been one of them. I got into this. I showed it to my dad on the weekend, and my dad who's not big on crypto. He turns around after a few minutes and goes, "Son, can I give you some money to put into crypto?" I'm like, "Yeah, Dad, no problem. I'll look after you." So he's getting some money together. We're going to look after my dad for him. This is another one of our clients, Lance Jensen. Lance he's an entrepreneur. He's a business coach out in New Zealand. He knew that the crypto space has such a deep learning curve that he wanted to get a guide to help him through it. And what he actually did was he came to us. He goes, these guys, they know their stuff. It's been very beneficial to learn from all their mistakes and experiences. And trust me, I speak on my behalf as well as Michael's behalf. We've made a lot of mistakes. Michael's made mistakes over the past 3-4 years. I've made a lot of mistakes over the past year or so that I've been in crypto. Even under the guidance of Michael, I had to get to a point where I realized that, my mindset and my emotions were getting in the way, and I had to put those aside and go, "Michael, I'm just going to listen to you, brother. You tell me what to do." And when I started doing that, I started seeing massive results. So he's nearly 3x his money in a very, very short period of time. He started off with about $38,000 New Zealand, and he's gone up to $105,000 New Zealand in about I think it was about 6 months or so. Most of these clients we've had have been in crypto for less than a year. So all these results we're actually showing you have all been results within the past year. So none of it is longer than that.
Wasim, just slowing you down a little bit. Maybe we can catch up a little bit with the guys in the room. Let me just know how you would like to finish, because we have around 10 minutes to go. So yes. Would you like to stop the live stream and connect with the people, or you have still something very important to go in the?
No, I'm happy to do that. I think I've only got about 4 or 5 slides left. So what time do we have to? Is it 4:30?
It's 1:30, so basically you will not have time to catch up with the guys if we stay live. So let's just do that. If you want to say a few words where people can reach you, and after that I will just stop the live stream.
What I'll do is I just put this up. Oops. Okay, so for you guys out there, we'll copy this into this. For those in the live stream, here's some free resources that we have. If you guys are interested in jumping in and finding out more about this opportunity, we have a free membership where you guys can just go to breakoutnow.co/free. In this, you get our bronze membership. You get a whole bunch of resources and bonuses. It's absolutely free. Great place for you guys to get started in your crypto journey. Get a lot of information to actually know how to research. Get exposure to us and to our groups. Ask us questions and whatnot. Our website is breakoutsolutions.com. We also have a Telegram group. If you go to breakoutnow.co/cryptoverse, we've got a few hundred people in that group. We're always sharing the latest information, and we're helping our clients. And, if people have problems, they don't know what they're doing, we just want to help people get involved. We have a YouTube channel where Michael puts up great information every time something new comes up. And lastly, if you want to have a chat with me, no agenda, just ask me any question you want. I've opened up my calendar for 30-minute sessions that you can book a time with me, come in, show me what challenges you are, where you want to go, and then we can talk about where you want to go. So just go to bit.ly/meetwasim, book a time with me, and let's get to know each other. You can go ahead and stop the live stream.